say cha-ching.
He's a rural special graduate who's gone on to great things.
Today to welcome Paul Harris Steele. You know, he's a good friend to each and every individual and a good person. We're very proud of all the successes this young man has made through these years. He's 41 years old, and if the good Lord bless him another 41 years, what will he be? It's an honor and privilege. Paul Harris, will you come forward?
Thank you, thank you. How are you today? Good. Are you proud to be back in school? What? I thought you'd be more excited than that. Coming in the parking lot, I got nervous. I thought I forgot my homework. Thought Mr. Hip's going to kill me. But I'm so glad to be back. Speaking to Mr. Hip and Mr. Branson, if this teaching thing don't work out, boy, they could make a good dance team for America's Got Talent, don't y'all think? I ain't seen moves like that since the earthquake in Guy. But I am tickled to be here today. I tell you what, I cut my teeth here at this school, and it meant the world to me to be here. And in fact, look what I got. And check this out. It still fits. Fat guy in little coat. Fat guy in little coat. I better take that off before I rip it. A little help. This jacket has meant the world to me. My time here is real special. It says Paul Harris, Vice President, 88, 89. And I know that was before all of y'all was even born or thought of. But it seems like yesterday to me. I moved here and whenever I was a sophomore in high school. And I came here as the new kid on the block. My family had moved from Arkansas to Chicago, Illinois to make a living. They couldn't make a living in Arkansas, so they moved up there to get jobs. And I was in the 3rd grade, and I tell you, it was a lot of adjustment for me to make to move to a big city like that. You know, I went from a small town to a huge city. I got picked on a lot because I was different, because I was a little country kid. Got in a lot of fights, got in a lot of trouble. It was a struggle for me. So moving back to Fox, or moving to Fox, boy, it was a thrill for me to come here and go to high school. I graduated in 89, 6 people in my graduating class. Where's our seniors at? How many seniors in your class? 15. That's a big old class right there. There were 6 of us, and inevitably, every time I tell somebody that, I always get some smart aleck. Were you the valedictorian? No, I wasn't. I was in the top 6. About as high as I make it. The day I moved here was kind of a record-breaking moment for Fox. The very first day I came here, I got a paddling. And probably I hold the record for being the quickest paddling in rural special history. They should paint that on the board and put that up in the gym. Wouldn't that look cool down there? Quickest paddling, Paul Harris. I'm honored by that. I deserved it. I tell you that. I did. What I get my paddling for? Should I tell it? Is Miss Stewart here?
No.
No, she's not here? Well, all right, I'll tell it. Like I said, I was a troubled kid when I came to Rural Special. My first day, I was wearing combat boots, old torn jeans, a leather jacket. I had my hair kind of in a mohawk. It was shaved on the sides and real long on top. And I didn't know anybody from Adam. And I remember it was the student-teacher softball game. Do y'all still have that? Do y'all still do that? The student-teacher softball game?
Volleyball and basketball.
Volleyball and basketball. Well, they had a softball game. And it was over at the fields at Fox. And I met this kid, Chad Hebert. And Chad, we got to talking. He said, "You want to go smoke a cigarette?" And I didn't smoke cigarettes, but I wanted to fit in. I wanted to be cool. And so him and I snuck behind the car. And all of a sudden, here come this girl come walking around the car. And she said, "You know you're not supposed to do that, do you?" I said, "Well, what they don't know won't hurt them." And I looked at Chad, and he was holding his in his hand, and it was burning his hand. And he whispered, "That's a teacher." And it was Miss Stewart. And that was her first year of teaching. She still pretty much looked like a student. She was really young. And she busted us. And boy, I felt like an idiot. I did. And remember, we drove back up to the school. I got out, and Robert Ross, I hadn't met him yet, but he was our principal at the time. And Chad told me, he said, "That's the principal." And so I walked right up to him and looked him in the eye. And I said, "Do you want to see me?" He said, "Yes, sir, I do." And he took me to his office and paddled me. And I got a newfound respect for authority and discipline. And Robert Ross and I went on to, still to this day, to be very, very, very good friends. He was one of my most influential teachers or figures here at this school, Robert Ross. But that's it. That's why I got that pattern. I knew that was going to get asked whenever I brought that up. So no smoking. Stay away from it. People ask me all the time, how did you like going to a small school like that? I loved it, y'all. It meant the world to me. I know both sides of the coin. Like I said, I lived in Chicago. The high school that I went to in Chicago had 5,000 kids in it, from grades 9 through 12. And like I said, it was hard for me to adjust. I was picked on a lot, and I took refuge in music and acting. And one of our family friends got me acting lessons at an art school, and that's how I kind of got into performing. I dove into it. I did plays. I did improv. My first music experience was in a punk rock band, if you can believe that. And but I went to, like I said, a school of 5,000 kids. It was easy to fall through the cracks in that school. I ended up getting in a lot of trouble. My grades suffered. I got picked on a lot, like I said, so I ended up falling in with a gang of guys for protection, and ended up witnessing some stuff that kids shouldn't witness. I witnessed a couple stabbings. One of my friends got shot. I got to see that. And my folks knew it was time to get me back to Arkansas. Thank the Lord they did. Like I said, when I came here, I was the new kid. It was a little bit of adjustment, but I fell right into it because of the community and the student body and the teachers. Like I said, I needed that paddling. Some of you probably need that now and again. No reaction. But thank the Lord you go to a school that cares enough about you that would discipline you like that, huh? But anyway, I had no connection with teachers. I couldn't play sports up there because only the elite athletes, only the top athletes could be a part of the team. So I fell through the cracks. And thank the Lord I come back here. My mother and stepfather moved me back to Arkansas. We moved from Chicago to Sunnyland. I went from having 1,100 kids in my class to 11, which was a big shock to me. And at first, I got to admit to you, at first I thought, well, I'll never get to fulfill my dream of being on stage. at this little school. And little did I know, and you just saw right there, that I was going to get some of my best stage experience, some of my first experience right here in this school, on that stage, doing plays, talent shows. Honestly, any time that we had an assembly or some kind of a function and there was an open mic, I took it. I took every opportunity I could to get on stage. That led to me doing talent contests, and eventually led to my first professional job as a comedian at the White River Hoedown in Mountain View. And when I graduated school, I still had that dream to be an entertainer. Anybody that's known me my whole life knows that it's not a shock to them that I'm doing what I'm doing for a living, because I've always wanted to do this. But when I got out of school, it wasn't easy. I took every opportunity I could to get on stage. I didn't always make the right decisions. I hung out with some of my best friends. One of my best friends, Rusty, he rode bulls. He was a bull rider. Got a bull rider right here? What's your name, buddy? Strayer? Strayer, are you Jay's boy? Are you? He says, oh gosh. Are you his boy? Is that right? I know your daddy. In fact, I get the thing that Renee sends out, the email she sends out about Fox, and I got to watch you ride in Shirley here a while back. Yeah, good job. I wasn't as good as you. In fact, I wasn't a bull rider. I was a bull getter owner. My best friend Rusty, he taught me into getting on a bull one time. We were up in 56. That's when they still had a saddle club going, and they had a pen of bulls up there they was trying to buck, and Rusty told me they didn't have enough riders that day. He said, man, you've been on horses before. You can ride a bull. All you got to do is try. T-R-Y. And at 19, I'm thinking, he's a philosopher. Daggum right, that's all I got to do is try. I can do anything if I T-R-Y it. And I borrowed some spurs and some leggings and a rope and a glove. And they heated the rope up for me, and got up in there in the bucket chute, and all my buddies was leaned over in there trying to help me. They was all telling me something at the same time. Mark, turn your toes out, stick your chest out, tuck your chin, you're going to be losing the hips, tighten the back, losing the hips, tighten the back. Come on, put your mean face on, boy. Put your mean face on. They had me all pumped up. He knows what I'm talking about. They're like, are you ready? And I'm like, I'm ready. Turns out that means go. And y'all, that ride went exactly like this. Woo! I woke up, I didn't know giddy up from sickle. I'm still friends with them idiots too, you know it? But like I said, I didn't always make the right decisions. But in 1994, I heard about an audition in Branson. And I went up there and auditioned to be the comedian for this show up there. And to my surprise, I got the job. And honestly, I didn't know if I wanted to do it. I loved what I was doing. I was shoeing horses at the time. I loved the independence of that. I loved this small town living. I didn't know if I wanted to move up there and do that. But I told them folks, I said, give me a day or two to figure this out. I said, let me go back home and figure this out. So I went back home and I loaded my horseshoeing equipment up in my truck that day. And I drove to this farm, and that day I was supposed to shoe some draft horses. Draft horses are really big, powerful animals, bred for pulling things. And if a horse that size don't want you to nail shoes in his feet, you're not going to do it, I can promise you that. And I was asking myself all day, I said, do you want to be a horseshoer or do you want to be a comedian? And I remember pulling up to that place, and I saw this horse just go crazy. Just running through this guy's fence like a hant. He was running through that field and he was dragging a tree that big around. I'll never forget it. And I walked up to that old boy and I said, what happened? He said, well, I had him tied to that tree. And he just run off with it. I want you to shoot him. I said, well, you're going to have to find somebody else. I'm a comedian. And that's how it happened. I moved to Branson. I was blessed enough to work in several shows there. For about 8 years, I worked there until I kind of built my way up through the ranks, and I opened up my own theater in Branson and started my own show in 2002. And still yet, after about 3 or 4 years of doing that, I knew that there was just something else I wanted to do. I knew that God had something else planned for me. And I took it as a risk, and I shut down the theater, and my wife and I in 2005 moved to Nashville, Tennessee, to further my career in the entertainment business. But what happened was I became a little fish in a big pond. Whereas I was a big fish in a little pond in Branson, I moved to Nashville. I had to start all over again. I basically had to start from the bottom. I had to prove myself all over again. And it was tough. I started working in just little clubs, little comedy clubs. I would drive literally hundreds and hundreds of miles just to get on stage for 6 minutes. And it was there in between Birmingham, Alabama, and Atlanta, Georgia one night, I got an idea for a group to mix comedy and music. I wanted it to be real funny, but I wanted the music to be really, really good. And I thought of this family band, this fake family band. And where would they be from? Of course, it'd be my favorite place on earth, Stone County, Arkansas. But what would I call these guys? The Cleverleys. So I mentioned this to a couple producers in Nashville, and we put together some demo tapes and some video footage of the Cleverleys, and we put them on YouTube, and we just literally started getting millions of hits from 54 different countries, all over the entire world. It was amazing. It was a blessing to us to see it take off like that. That led to us being on stage at the CMA Fest in Nashville in front of 60,000 people. It led to us performing with Blake Shelton and Miranda Lambert and Jeff Foxworthy and the band Perry and Luke Bryant, just to mention a few. And then eventually led to my ultimate dream, playing at the Grand Ole Opry. And I got to tell you that I work harder now at it than I ever did even 20 years ago, trying to make it happen. Point to all that is that if you have a dream, if you have a goal, it's reachable. You just got to shoot for it. You got to keep going. If you're the type of person that a hurdle in the road creates a roadblock for you, it's going to be a tough life. You got to jump those hurdles and keep on going. If your dream, well, it's time to go to class. We'll see y'all later. It doesn't matter what your dream is, it's reachable. And someone told me one time that, perseverance, which means to never give up, that's the only thing that every successful person has in common, is that they didn't give up. They kept their dreams in sight, their goals in sight, and they went for it. And I'm here to tell you that anything that you want to do is achievable. There's a lot of people from this area that persevered, that never gave up. You have real special graduates that have become teachers, have become coaches, nurses, sheriffs, heroes in the military, Rhodes Scholars, for crying out loud. We've had a lot of people from this area reach their goals and reach their dreams. Just because you're 20 miles from the nearest Walmart, that doesn't mean that you're at a disadvantage. Unless you run out of toilet paper, then you're in trouble. But being at this school, it's an advantage. You know what I got here is whereas I fell through the cracks in that large school, I became a part of the community. I became a part of this student body. I belong. I became the star of the show on that little stage there in the cafeteria. And I became a part of a team. Look, I got my name up on that wall. And I stunk at basketball. Do you know how cool it is to stink at something and still get your name on the board? That's pretty cool. But anyways, I know it's hot. I know y'all's all anxious to get back to class.
No, keep talking.
But I just wanted to tell you guys that anything that you put your mind to, it's achievable. It's reachable. You're an advantage here. Those people that I went to school with in Chicago, they were at the disadvantage. This was a place that is near and dear to my heart. And I wish all of you the best. Be proud to live in this community. Be proud to go to this school. And be proud to be a rebel. Thank you guys so much for having me today. I appreciate you. God bless you. I wish all of you the best. Y'all have a great year, all right? And be proud, like I said, be proud to be a rebel. Thank you guys so much. God bless you.
Almost every year, and he's raised a lot of money for Stone County students, so we appreciate that. The school here has a little gift for it. We wanted to give him something here to show our appreciation.
Thank you, Paul.